Somewhere beyond the recesses of time and space, two podcasters are set adrift in a machine, picking up transmissions of movies that are forgotten but not gone.
So, we've been seeing a lot of Greg Kinnear lately on this podcast. And that's not a bad thing by any means. I am not complaining. But in order to help kind of like keep our Kinnears straight, I came up with a handy rhyme that will just avoid any confusion. If his daughter's gone wrong, Kinnear's in last song. If he's taunting a Hoosier, Kinnear's in loser. See? You're welcome.
I see. Now do as good as it gets.
Okay. If he has regrets (parentheses) about being in Jack Nicholson's life, it's as good as it gets. And I'm trying to find one for Mystery Men as well. Like if his face is a Melton. But that doesn't rhyme with men. That's the problem with these kind of rhymes. You wind up spending... It would be easier to just remember which movies Greg Kinnear would be in than creating the convoluted language you need to get the thing he's doing in the movie to rhyme with the name of the movie.
I think Busta Rhymes has some competition for his namesake. Not because he's busting rhymes, and you are also busting rhymes. You are literally like... busting with a hard G. You're breaking rhymes. I am breaking them up.
I'm smashing them on the ground like Moses with those tablets, which I think is the thing that happened in the Bible. I have no use for rhymes. I chafe at their restrictions.
I have a Mena Suvari story.
Oh, okay. What type of breath freshening implement did you offer her?
Okay, picture it. Sundance, 2004. I'm sitting next to Faye Dunaway.
Okay. If all of your weird celebrity encounters all happened at the Sundance Film Festival in 2004, it would be like that week of my life changed everything.
They don't all happen at Sundance. This one does happen to happen at Sundance 2004, where I was sitting next to Faye Dunaway.
Oh, you weren't fucking around. This actually...
We were seeing... No. I don't fuck around when it comes to celebrity stories.
Landen is very serious about everything.
If you haven't been to Sundance...
You might be a normal person.
There is just... It's movies upon movies upon movies upon movies, and then when you're not going to movies, you're socializing with industry folk or friends about movies out and about town. There is very little time to rest and sleep. And so by your third or fourth day and your third or fourth or fifth film in that day, it becomes a little hard to keep your eyes open during movies.
Yeah.
And previous listeners will remember I had this stupid little elite pass that got me into roped off sections of premieres of movies.
Did you steal this elite pass from some other celebrity who was big at the time? You put on you put on Bobby Cannavale's coat by accident, and then you got that.
He wasn't there that year. The station agent appeared a couple years before that. David Arquette was there. Doesn't matter. I'm sitting at the premiere, one of the front rows of a Mena Suvari Colin Firth movie called Trauma. Maybe it's changed names since then. That often happens. I don't think it ever even found distribution. But it's this weird psychological thriller, honestly not too dissimilar from the relationship dynamic that her and Greg Kinnear have in this movie.
But maybe handled with a bit more grace.
I don't know. I remember it being pretty terrible. From what I remember, the little I saw of it, because I was sitting directly in front of Mena Suvari, And this was like my third or fourth day, and I was so tired. So tired. And I knew I was going to fall asleep. Whether the movie was good or bad, it was just going to happen. And I was stuck in a conundrum of, how do I fall asleep in a movie in front of the person it stars?
You said the movie was terrible, and yet it seems as though you didn't actually watch the movie.
I watched enough of it.
Mena Suvari would be more upset that you judged the movie without fully experiencing it than she was that you fell asleep during it.
You know what? If it were available in any way, shape, or form since that screening, I would have given it another shot. But I have not been able to find it.
Wow.
So what I opted to do, Colin Firth was not at the premiere. It was just Mena Suvari. I opted to pull a Marlon Brando, really.
You got some popcorn going and you just blasted it out of a rolled up magazine. Faye Dunaway catching it in her mouth, being like, "Oh, I remember this from that movie I was in 9 years ago."
Oh my God!
You were a flight of eagles.
I slid way down into my seat so that she couldn't tell if I was just like lounging or literally asleep. In retrospect, not the right move to do, because anyone would know that you're asleep and not actually paying attention to the movie. I should have just got up and left, and you know, that have been that, but I didn't.
How was it after the movie, though? Like, the lights come up, did you turn around to look at Mena Suvari and see if she noticed?
I don't remember. I kind of have a vague image in my head of just like the lights coming up and everyone, including her, shuffling off through the aisles, you know, outside, but I don't really remember much else.
For what it's worth, I feel like Mena Suvari at that point had probably seen the movie so many times on the festival circuit. She could have been asleep too. You both could have been.
I don't know that. That's true. I don't have eyes in the back of my head, surprisingly.
And even if you had, they would have been closed because you were asleep.
I can't alternate. Like, I can't. It's not the eyes that get sleepy. So like I can close these eyes and open the other ones.
I mean, look, that would be super handy, but even then, you said you'd slumped so far down in your seat, even if your back eyes had been open and looking at things, you only would have seen the back of the seat. So, really, you know, checkmate, man. You got no way out of this.
Yeah, I guess so. Fuck. All right. Well, sorry, Mena Suvari.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I think she's doing okay. I mean, honestly, I'm more sorry.
Fine, yeah, but
I'm more sorry for her about this movie than anything else. So look, you were talking a lot about the experience of being a man in the year 2000.
I was not a man.
Being being the age that the United States says is a man, so they can put you in the army and.
Okay.
Put you in the army, but hey, it's the year 2000. We're probably not going to need the army for anything. Everything's great.
Sake.
Cold War's over. History ended. Was everybody walking around and saying dust to each other when
fuck off
when a situation ended? We didn't talk about this. They're like the trendy roommates in the movie. At one point, when they're trying to like butter up Jason Biggs, when he's walking away, he says, "All right, I'll see you later, man." Dust. I'm just like, ooh.
The slang they use in this just made my skin crawl.
I mean, to be fair, later Jason Biggs says dust to Mena Suvari and she like laughs in his face. So the movie takes a stronger stance against using the word dust than it does on some other questionable behavior. So I mean, at least like I did not think that the usage of dust was aspirational. I'm just trying to figure out, was it in wide use at the time?
I listen, okay, I don't remember it being in wide use, but what makes me get fuck offery about it is that it just alludes to the vernacular, the slang that we used at the time, which was not good. I mean, just generally, like, nothing, like, the word dude came from surfer culture, and it has it's timeless. It stands the test of time.
Actually, the word dude comes from ranching culture in the 1800s. You watch Deadwood, and all the cowboys in that are talking about the dude doing this or the dude doing that, and it's kind of I don't know, this is a boring anecdote. Go on, Landon.
I'm just saying, trying to allude to the fact that there was nothing from this era, no cultural slang that has stayed in our lexicon. Go ahead and try to think of one. I'll tell you what.
I'm trying to think of... Yeah.
I was going to say, are white boys still going around saying, I eat?
Oh,
I'm sure they are.
I mean, yeah, they probably are. When did Hella kick off? Was Hella happening in the early
That was
2000s?
a little after my high school years. I would say that's more Gwen Stefani's solo career.
More in Truman's high school years, because people were
Exactly.
definitely saying it at his high school. I mean, I guess a lot of the I keep landing on oh, that was an enduring piece of slang from this Amy Heckerling movie, and then I remember, oh no, wait, that was from Clueless. I keep you know, when someone's beautiful, I refer to them as a Betty. I talk about giving snaps to people, but I also then am realizing I don't even think that was actual 90s slang. I think that's a bunch of stuff that Amy Heckerling made up for the movie that just stuck by virtue of being good.
Betty predates Clueless. I don't know the origins of it. It must just be like a Beverly Hills or Valley thing, because it's certainly in Encino Man, which came out before that.
Is it in Valley Girl? It would make sense if it was.
I just watched Valley Girl for the first time last year. I don't remember.
Oh.
But it was a good movie.
Oh, that's good. I should watch that. I saw, when I watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High, there was that one cutaway shot of a young, sexy as hell Nicolas Cage at the burger place, and it was just like, gotta watch Valley Girl, get some more of that action.
He's also, you could see him in like 3/4 behind him profile when Judge Reinhold's in line for, is it yearbook photos or something in the high school gymnasium.
Oh, yeah, okay. So Nicolas Cage with his face mostly obscured, much like the film Longlegs, a precursor of his later career. Longlegs in theaters
Speaking
2 months ago.
Of Longlegs,
in theaters 2 months ago.
Would that be a film that you would suggest someone take home to snuggle to?
Yeah, I mean,
if you're David Spade and you're like, okay, maybe not When Harry Met Sally, maybe not The Piano because Harvey Keitel's dong is so big that it's going to make you feel insecure.
Wiener.
Jesus Christ. What movie would you suggest? Is it Longlegs?
I mean, look, your girl's gonna cozy up next to you pretty hard on the couch, not wanting to look at the screen during Longlegs. I mean.
If you're anything like my partner, your limbs are at risk of being broken. We saw Jaws 3D, which she had never seen before, and when the face comes out of the bottom of the boat, she was holding onto my hand, and my thumb still cracks from how much you heard it.
Okay, this is very sweet. Picture it. Portland, Oregon, 1975, or maybe 73. My parents are on their second date. Yeah, this is 1973. Whatever year fucking Jaws came out, I don't remember. They were on an early date, and my dad had already seen Jaws once. He's like, hey, let's go see Jaws together. I've already seen it, so I know where all the scary parts are, so I can tell you to look away from the screen. This is how people talked in Portland in the 70s. But he had his arm around my mom, and when the face comes out of the boat, my dad flinched so hard that he knocked my mom's glasses off. And for some reason, this woman still married him. So I'm glad to know that you and your partner are basically following in the footsteps of my parents, who are still. They recently celebrated 48 years together. So
did they celebrate it by going to see Jaws in 3D?
No, because they're getting up there in years. They have their hearts have to be protected. They can't take a scare like that. Yeah, I don't. Well, it calls into question though. Is David Spade actually trying to set them up for a romantic night, or is he trying to sabotage them?
It's unclear. Yeah, I think he's supposed to be trying to help him out, but David Spade's kind of sarcastic smarminess underplays it, so you don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to take him seriously. If I was trying to set somebody up to have a good romantic movie night with their date, I would probably give them Rushmore, because it's like, oh, are you artsy? This movie is cute and kind of funny, and it shows that, much like Ed Burns, you've got a little bit more going on. You're a little bit deeper than the ordinary person might think. And if I was trying to sabotage them, I would give them Loser, directed by Amy Heckerling.
Not a bad choice.
Imagine David Spade recommending the movie that you're currently watching as the movie to take home.
It's like in a weird Spaceballs moment.
It's like in the Muppet movie when they read the screenplay for the Muppet movie to figure out what's going on.
You want to play a trailer game?
Yeah, anything to get us to stop talking about the movie Loser. Oh, that's the trailer for Loser.
It's
too
the trailer
bad.
for Loser. Okay,
Yes.
Listen. Here we go. Some real talk. You took a hard stance on how Hope Springs was going to be marketed to.
Must we still? Must we? That was so long ago. Why must I be flogged repeatedly for making a mistake one time? We're forgiving. I'm sorry. We're forgiving all of the Bush administration Republicans who are anti-Trump now. We're being like, oh, you thought the Iraq War was a good idea, but well, that was in the past.
Okay.
We'll let that one slide. But I'm still on trial, ladies and gentlemen. Is it fair?
You're not on trial. I'm just pointing to your case as an example of what might be happening here, because you thought Hope Springs was going to be marketed as the raunchy sex comedy that we didn't get.
Yes.
And that is not how they marketed it. I think, though, your instincts apply to this movie in that it's going to be marketed as the raunchy sex comedy on the heels of American Pie, starring two of its actors.
Sure. Okay, and look, I'll grant you, yes, I think they'll market it as a raunchy sex comedy, but another thing we didn't talk about in the main episode, this movie actually has, like, less sex in it than Hope Springs, which is weird. Like, the closest we get to sex in Loser is Greg Kinnear in bed with Mena Suvari, who, that they've had that kind of sex where the lady keeps her bra on the entire time. So it's like a very PG-13.
And they both keep their underwear on.
Yes, well, you leave some room for the Holy Spirit. That's the most quietly Christian thing in this movie. So there's just not a lot of raunch to cut to, but I mean,
is
like
this, is this going to be the first movie since Life or Something Like It where we see scenes that aren't in the actual movie?
Oh, interesting. Maybe. I mean, hard for us to predict around that, but that might be a thing. Look, one thing, like, okay, I think that they will market this as a raunchy sex comedy. I don't know what footage they will do that marketing with. I have one thing that I feel certain is going to be in there. It's his roommate sitting down with Jason Biggs and saying, hey, I'm going to tell you something. Nobody likes you.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Yep. He's a loser, after all. How else would we know?
So why don't you kill him?
For fuck's sake.
Back.
We're on the heels of American Pie, Jason Biggs, slapstick. Specifically,
falling
if I have
down
to
the stairs?
Maybe falling down the stairs, definitely asleep in the armchair that slides out from beneath him, and he falls butt first onto the floor.
I feel like falling down the stairs in front of a room full of people gets you more bang for your buck in a trailer. If we're doing
agree.
a pratfall.
I think that might be there, but I think we need to see just really drive home the idea that he's bumbling, and also this needs to sell more of the comedy, and that's really all of the visual comedy there is in this movie is just him pulling someone's dreadlock with his backpack accidentally. Maybe a montage of him not getting along with people, like when he sits down to talk to the guy who's in a psych class. He's like, hey, I'm in psych too. And the guy goes, okay, and then gets up and leaves.
Yeah, that might be... Yeah, because I feel like this movie is going to lead with just a bunch of, like, nobody likes this guy. He is the loser who you've heard about in the title.
Why is this movie not called Losers?
That would make more sense, because I think that also that's what the poster is trying to sell, is that these are two ugly ducklings who find one another and lead a rebellion.
This movie should be more like Ghost World, and it ends up getting American Pie stank on it.
and that's a powerful stank. I think this movie should be more like Ghostbusters, but they're already in New York. Dan Aykroyd's in it.
That's true. We have a quarter Ghostbuster here.
And look, if like Hope Springs, it could do with a blowjob scene, and you've got Dan Aykroyd and a ghost.
Okay, I'm putting the plug in that one there.
You're no fun.
Shots of the date. I think pulling the bread apart, trying to catch it in the mouth, going to the museum specifically.
Yeah.
How we know this is a teen movie? Well, you know what? Ferris Bueller had a museum scene.
That's, man. It made me so upset. I was just like, movie, don't make me think about a better movie in the middle of this bad movie. You can't do teenagers at a museum better than Ferris Bueller. Amy Heckerling, I admire your moxie, but you shouldn't have tried.
Well, that shows the difference between the two of us. It made you want to go watch Ferris Bueller. It made me want to go watch The Piano, starring Harvey Keitel.
Because you want to see all that wiener. So I think we're going to get Mena Suvari in bed going, how'd you get so nice?
Oh, yeah. But do we have to explain how she's in bed? That's not going to be in the trailer at all.
No, it's not. I think, look, if we're marketing this as raunchy sex comedy, you see Mena Suvari propped up in bed talking to Jason Biggs, people will be primed to think that a very different set of things happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to support you.
If it seems to be killing your soul to do it, so
no. I'm not killing my soul to support you. I'm just like, how are they gonna contort their bodies to get that in the trailer and sell it? I don't know.
It is a
very
sex
perplexed.
comedy. How will they contort their bodies?
I am very trepidatious and curious how they're going to actually pull this off. Do you think there's going to be that Don Fontaine voice-o is what I said?
Voice-o. Those voice-os always narrating things going on. Roving gangs of voice-os narrating the streets.
When you have a movie this disjointed and chopped up, I almost feel like it's inevitable that it's going to have VO explaining the things that they can't show. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if we're too late in the game for Don LaFontaine voiceover anymore. I mean, I got skunked on Don Juan. I assumed that Don LaFontaine would be explaining to us what Don Juan was like. But
that's fair.
World's greatest narrator.
The last thing I have is that this is clearly going to lean into its pop punk soundtrack. Whether it uses Wheatus, I'm not sure. I mean, it is the theme song. We didn't even talk about the fucking music video for Wheatus.
Yeah, we didn't. We got close to it. We danced around the edges of it, but
maybe if we have time at the end of this, we will. But
folks, stay tuned. I think that's a good bet that there's going to be some kind of like needle drop like that. I don't know. I want to throw one other thing.
I swear to God, if this fucking trailer has "She's So High Above Me," so help me God.
I don't know if it will. I don't think because I think "She's So High" was a little too early of the '90s, and they're going to go with a more late '90s song that's more relevant.
Okay,
but it'll also be fun to like, folks, let's cross our fingers that it's in there so we can watch Landon lose his mind live on the podcast.
Bitch.
The Greg Kinnear of it all.
Yeah.
I feel like there's gotta be there's a scene in the movie where he's lecturing her on how to make him tea properly, and like that might be the indicator.
Okay.
Like that may be the shorthand for "This guy sucks" that they show us.
I think I know what it is. I'm not refuting that. I'm happy to put that one in there. There's a look. It's a really great performance flourish that Greg Kinnear gives toward the end of the movie. Jason Biggs is going to see him about Dora, and it's when he gives him the take-home test, and he's like, go study for this, and he's like, I'm not part of this blackmail thing. They're standing outside the office, and Greg Kinnear is like, what are you doing here? He's like, can we talk? He's like, well, we could talk out here. And then a girl exits from his office, and then there's like this weird little awkward pause. Greg Kinnear gives this like flummoxed little look, and he goes, well, let's go talk inside. I think just that little fraction of a scene will be in there.
Yeah.
Because we get that he's cheating, like he's not a good teacher. It's a funny little moment of Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, no, I'll take that. I'll take that. Kinnear lady office. That will make sense to me. I hope that's how you all know I'm a feminist. It's that whenever I'm talking about a woman on the podcast, I refer to her as a lady. Respect. Pass it on, guys. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to take you pork pie hat shopping.
We didn't talk enough about the fucking pork pie hat that he upgrades from a flaps on the sides Midwest hat to a black felt pork pie hat.
The fact that it was covering up his hair totally negated the fact that he was wearing a pork pie hat. I'm just like, thank fucking God.
It's like, she's like, we need to get you a new hat. And I'm like, good idea. And then she puts a pork pie hat on, and we're like, can we go back to the Fargo Midwestern hat? Actually, I think that was a better look.
It was a better look, but the hair just needs to be covered up. I don't care what's on his head.
It's just means to an end, I suppose. Okay, we've got 5. Do you want to take a guess, though, at just what song it's going to be in this trailer? Just because that's going to be fun.
Is it going to be from the movie or not?
It's got to be from the movie. If it's not from the movie, it'll be All-Star, but I don't.
Because, do you think the moment with them putting the L's to their forehead, because it's called Loser, and that's the only moment that they do that, that's got to be in there, right?
And that moment was big enough that it was the front and center of the poster. I mean, the marketing campaign heavily involved that.
Yeah. So are you saying yes or no that would be in there?
I'm saying yes, it would be in there. It's just, do we want to we've already got 5. That's going to be our extra credit one. So it's either that or we try and take a bet on a song. Okay, L, finger and thumb in shape of L on forehead. I didn't type all that, folks. Okay, do we want to do this?
Yeah, I definitely do want to do this because it means we're closer to the end of talking about Loser.
Yep, we're mad about it, folks. We are mad dudes. We did not like this movie, and we are eager for the next movie. Okay. All right. Well then, let's watch this trailer. Not the music I expected.
Good afternoon. Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Not.
Paul is out of touch.
Oh fuck, Don LaFontaine.
Yo.
Yeah. Let me try that one again. No, man, that's cool. Don't worry about it.
Dora is out of luck.
I'm calling for the Gal Friday job.
Andy Dick.
Why do we have to? We just talked about
So
Andy
much
Dick,
Dick.
but
He's trying.
he's
to
bumbling.
get
He's
in.
bumbling.
That is a great hat. Did the producers of Fargo have a garage
Fargo
sale?
burn.
I should have guessed the Fargo line.
She's trying to get a break.
Hi, I'm calling about the ad for healthy girls with good SAT scores.
You can take your clothes off in
Oh,
there.
we didn't talk
I
about
don't know
Taylor
if that's
Negroni
even
either.
legal.
And the
Oh,
semester is
the
just
bumping.
begun.
Try not to be so much like you.
Oh, okay.
That we should have done that one.
Jerry Lewis, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Kinnear's a
Would
dick.
not have guessed pretty fly for a white guy.
No, I'm fine.
But that's the premise of that whole music video too. So
I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
You gotta help me. Lisa is all primed. Her helpful friend Fat
oh,
Rita
no.
will take her home unless she gets some action.
party scene, we
Take
don't-
one for the team.
You guys are
Point for the
amazing.
team is a
Thank you.
sentiment
Think you
that
could
want
turn it down a
eradicated.
scotch?
Cool. Putting sound effects in there.
What the hell is that?
He may not get it.
Oh, that's not the movie. Oh, chair.
The chair. So
He
much
may
bumbling.
not know it.
What happened to the nasty girl who hates everyone, huh?
I don't know. I have fun with you. It's pretty dorky.
Fun
huh?
with you.
Look who you're asking.
But they just might be
She's looking at his
perfect for
shirtless
each other.
form.
Oh.
Jason,
Hey,
Jason
sorry,
Biggs is so hot.
Oh my
Everclear.
God.
This summer,
That
take your
dissolved.
best
How often do you
shot.
see it dissolve in a trailer?
Ex-girlfriend. She
Not
lost some
often.
weight, so she's dating a lot more now.
But remember,
Bread.
winning isn't
Losers.
everything.
Oh, yep, beautiful.
Oh, that's an
Loser.
extended
If you
scene
could
there.
only kill one of the Backstreet Boys, which would you pick?
The one with the really creepy facial hair.
I think for alleged heterosexuals, you both know far too much about the Backstreet
Ah, that's
Boys.
fun. That's fun, isn't it? Love that.
Yeah.
That's a cute little
That wasn't in the movie,
aspect
and
of the movie. Wow.
and
Okay.
it was in the trailer. So
Wow. That's well. They
just
they
when we
were-
thought we were done.
They knew, like, it's like let's get an audience that's not going to be put off by all the other stuff in this movie. Okay, so Landon,
Yeah.
how is it on that petard of yours? You roasted me for thinking that Hope Springs would be marketed as a raunchy sex comedy, and then you
Yeah.
thought this would be marketed. Admittedly, I also thought this would be marketed as a raunchy sex comedy, and instead it was marketed as a Jason Biggs fall down comedy.
Well, coming off of American Pie, can you blame me for thinking those are synonymous with each other?
I mean, I get. I think this was Jason Biggs people being like, listen, everybody thinks he's just the guy from the raunchy sex comedies. We have to show that he has layers, he has range, he can fall down. Gravity affects
fall down
Jason
in any
Biggs.
kind of movie.
Yes. He doesn't just have to fall face first or penis first into a pie. He can also fall ass first down a staircase, but then get horny when a lady puts an iced drink on his knee.
Through corduroy.
The corduroy is strong with this one.
So regardless of it being raunchy or not, I feel like we did pretty good.
No.
What?
You feel that way because we speculated about a lot of stuff, and we talked around a lot. Like, we said, oh, the fall down the stairs in the lecture hall will be in it, but we wound up going with Biggs falling out of the chair. So Biggs falling out of the chair is in there, but then also we could have racked up a point for the Biggs falling down the stairs, but we didn't list that.
To be fair, in my notes I say Paul's slapstick, sleep in chair, and falling.
Well, I
Two
mean,
different
either way,
moments.
that's...
Okay, all right.
Either way, it's 1 point. Either way, it's 1 point.
All right, okay.
Okay, his roommate talking to him and saying nobody likes you. We get the latter half of that where he says, try not to be so you.
Right.
Instead of the cute date at the museum, we have the cute date of them throwing bread into each other's mouths. But none of them at the
again,
museum.
my note here says montage of date, museum, comma, bread. But fair. I took the honest points before. I'll take the honest points now.
The movie is 80% montages. If you say montage, you're basically covering a lot of bases. Oh, my favorite ice cream is Neapolitan.
My favorite album is the Greatest Hits album.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite band is Everclear.
Everclear would not have pictured them being in this trailer.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. If you're going to get Everclear in your movie, you want to promote on that. Mena Suvari, we don't get Mena Suvari saying, you're so nice, but she just say, I just have so much fun with you, which is thematically the same thing.
Yeah. And we don't have to explain why she's in a bed.
Yeah, exactly. And Greg Kinnear, there's like one scene to let us know that Greg Kinnear is in the movie and is an
Jerry
asshole.
Lewis, everyone.
It's just him, yeah, exactly. Him mocking him mocking Jason Biggs. This is, I think we've talked about this before, that period in the 90s when everybody was just talking about Jerry Lewis mainly as a means to make fun of the French. Jerry Lewis just was so much more relevant for a different generation. I mainly know him as the really great performance in The King of Comedy, and I'm led to believe that apparently he clowned around in a lot of movies before that.
Just a few.
So basically what we got was the Biggs chair fall and the L's on the forehead.
Just two?
Just two.
Come on.
We're a couple of twosers.
Him not getting along with people at the beginning, do we not end up moving that into the guest column?
I mean, I
did say, in my head, I had him trying to do that handshake with the guy, but I said the textbook I'm in your psych class line. So all right, I'm being honest.
And we
honest.
don't get we don't. And we talked about him bumping people with the backpack, but and I kind of thought, oh, maybe we should put that as one, but we didn't, and here we are. Petard's thoroughly bruised.
I hope we're learning a thing or two about what specifics we should be writing down for next season.
No, we've never. We're not going to get better at this. I'm just predicting that right now. There's these trailers are chaos. I mean, look, I'm basically saying this so that I can be hoisted on this petard, and we actually wind up getting very good at this over time.
Okay,
we aced Reminiscence. Let's just remember that. That's the only good thing about that movie is that we totally guessed the trailer. One of us did.
We're at the end of this episode, so I don't want to take too much time, but I would be remiss, and I'm never going to have the opportunity again to talk about Wheatus on this show, maybe in life. So, the music video, if you're of a certain age, you know Teenage Dirtbag, the music video for this stars Jason Biggs and Mena Suvari in a narrative that has nothing to do with the movie Loser. It takes place.
That's great.
It takes place in high school, not college. Jason Biggs still plays a too nice to get the girl character, but Mena Suvari plays a cheerleader who's going out with a jock who by the end of the song and music video ends up seeing Jason Biggs and gives him 2 tickets to see Iron Maiden. It's bizarre. It takes place at prom.
Iron Maiden, not Everclear?
Because the song Teenage Dirtbag says, I got 2 tickets to see
Iron Maiden, baby. Yeah, okay, you're right. That song didn't mean as much to me as it did to
me.
People like you. Yes, exactly.
Now, what do you mean by people like you? Hold on a minute here.
I mean, like, basically all of the people who are about 7 years older than me that I'm friends with. Listen, if there'd been a Chicago song in this trailer, there was in the Life or Something Like It trailer, they cut to Lucretia McEvil by Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which was a huge song for me in high school. So I have had that moment.
Oh, okay. What do you say we end our conversation about Loser and see what the machine has in store for us next?
I have never been more excited to push this button and see what the printer gives us.
Push the button.
What is that? The Great Race joke? That classic, epic car chase comedy that I watched constantly as a child?
Where the fuck are we heading next?
It looks like I'm sorry. We're going to whatever year The Great Race was released, so we can talk about that movie. No. It says here that we're heading to August 20th, 2008.
8 years in the future, or technically 16 years in the past.
Yeah, feels like a lot more than that, don't it?
Or is it? Yeah, 16, 18 years, 18, 14, 6, 8 and 4.
A song by Chicago, 25 or 6 to 4 might apply here.
Look at this. The machine gave us a clue I have to read.
Oh, yeah. Does the machine have a calculator built into it? Because I feel like that could help you in some of these cases.
The clue is, bust out your tighty whities. The man can't tell you what to do. A 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God. Are we actually going to go watch Cabaret now? Because Alan Cumming was in his tighty whities when he's performing up there, and it seems like they're about to start singing. So, I mean...
you know what? Look, I could use a modern version of Cabaret. I mean, the Liza Minnelli one is pretty damn perfect, but I think we're in an era where I would like to see that again. There's a new... Sure. We're ripe for reinterpretation.
At this point, after watching this movie, I'm ripe for a Cabernet, so that's what I'm gonna go do.
All right.
I've achieved true wine mom status now. I'm gonna go sit under my Live, Laugh, Love poster and sip on something and forget about Loser entirely.
Well, with that, I've been Landon Solano for Truman Caps.
And for Landon Solano, I've been Truman Caps. The way that we said that, the order is all goofed up. It's going to sound weird as hell, but I'm not going to do another take of it. See you next week, everybody.
Okay, goodbye. Whoa!
Movie Memory Machine is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/gruntworkpodcast to keep the machine running. Theme song by Porky's Groove Machine. Rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. For more information on today's show, visit MovieMemoryMachine.com.